back to Kinda Tica, and today is my life update. For the last 2 weeks, I have been in the United States, and a lot has happened, and I said I was going to, you know, cover all of that, and I didn't because I procrastinate everything. Um, I had started to video our airport situation and kind of do that overview like I said I was going to. I got bit by a tick in the States and it's really itchy. And I said I was going to, and I did, but then we ran into extreme chaos, which I will explain to you guys. It was so bad. Highly recommend just go through Texas. So basically, when you are coming from a different state or from a different no, when you're coming from a different country into the United States, you have to go through border control. Border control is basically when they like check all your bags and make sure that like your passport's all together, and it takes a pretty decent amount of time. We have done it in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Texas. And all I have to say is that if you are coming from a different country and you are heading into the United States, I would highly recommend to just go through Texas, simply because of how well constructed their border control is. Their border control is so much more organized. They're so much faster. You can get in and out of there in like 10 minutes, which is amazing. We didn't realize how much we hated the border control in Florida until this trip. We went through Fort Lauderdale. We flew from San Jose, Costa Rica to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and it was awful. So we got to the border control and everything, and there was just this huge crowd of people. I mean, there was disorganized, it was hot, there was no air conditioning. No air conditioning. There was no like windows, there was no nothing. You were basically, oh, there's a bug. Okay, sorry. You were basically, sorry for that. You were basically in a basement is what it felt like. You were claustrophobic. I was claustrophobic. I was like panicking. The people were really, really, really mean. Like they were really mean. Um, Luckily, I spoke English, and English is my first language. Now, let's say English is your second language, or you don't speak English at all, and you only speak Spanish, or whatever. You will be treated poorly. To give you an example of that would be, let's say that I am in line and there is a Spanish family in front of me, and they have kids, or if they're just by themselves, if it's a couple, or if it's just one person and they're in front of me. If the border control people realize that I speak English and they do not, they will let me in front of them and make them wait in line longer. And that was infuriating. I was so mad that these people with like kids, and they were crying and they were upset, were like all being made to wait longer than they really had to. They didn't have to wait that long, but they were treated like they needed to be, like they were criminals. They were sitting like up against the wall. It was awful. My leg started cramping and I had to sit on the ground. I almost started crying because I was so claustrophobic. It was really bad. We were there for like 2 hours. Um, when you are going through border control, one of the things that you have to do is you have to scan your passport and then like take a little picture, and it's like a little piece of paper that you give to the security guard, and it just gives him all your basic information. Um, I was needing help to scan my passport so that I could get that little pamphlet thing, and I was having difficulties because my passport was not scanning. It was just kind of like eh. And so I needed help. So I went up to one of the people that worked there, and I was like, hey, I'm sorry to bother you, but can I get help with this? Blah, 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 blah. And I kid you not, her response was, like, she just started putting her hand in my face, like, just, like she wanted nothing to do with me, like I was an annoyance. And I was like, girl, this is your job. I was like, you're gonna help me. And she legit just grabbed my passport out of my hands and just stuffed it under the thing until it scanned, and then walked away. She didn't say a word to me. She didn't say anything. She didn't say, here, let me help you. Or she didn't say, okay, yeah, of course. Or here you go. Or anything. She said nothing. She just put her hand in my face. And that was how they treated people who lived in the United States. So just imagine how they treated people who don't. There was a bug on my head. No. Okay. So it was really bad. And then once we had left the border control area and we were finally free to go to our next flight, which was from, there was a bug, which was from Fort Lauderdale to Kansas City. We were walking towards their plane and we had to go through the x-ray machine thing. And what's really funny is my family always has to get patted down. They always have to go through the x-ray machine. They always have to do like that 20-minute thing of like they check everything in your bag, they do all this. I always have the fast pass, and I never have to take off my shoes. I never have to get x-rayed. I never have to do any of these things. So that's always happened to me, nobody else. And if you're gonna say, well, maybe it's because you're younger, that it doesn't make any sense, because my 13-year-old brother has to do it, but I don't. So I don't know what it is, but I don't have to do it, and I'm not complaining because I get out of there really quick. But my parents were really concerned at this point because we were really close to missing our plane. We had about like 15 minutes, and we didn't know where our plane was. We knew it was like what gate it was, but we didn't know where that gate actually was located. So that was terrifying. So basically what happened was, since I was the first person here, let me fix the lighting. Since I was the first person to get through the whole x-ray thing, I had to go find the plane. Now, the thing is, I had gotten through there without having to take my shoes off or anything, but then, like, this lady was like, will you take your shoes off for me? And I was like, okay, they're sandals, but sure. And so I took them off, and then I realized, I don't know even why she wanted me to take them off, I don't know. But then I realized really quick that we had about 5 minutes before our plane was supposed to close its gates. And if you don't know this, when your plane closes the gates, they cannot open it for you. So if you run there and you're like, I'm here, and they're like, sorry, we already closed the gates, they can't open them for you. So I was concerned. So I just basically yelled at, here, I have to keep reorganizing this whole thing. Okay. So I was basically super concerned, and I was like, we need to go. So I was like, Mom, Dad, I'm running. And so I just started running and leave all of them behind. I was like, you guys can just follow me. I was like, I'm going to run and go catch our plane. So, and if you don't know me very well, I hate running. I only run if something is chasing me or if there is food involved. So I was running without my shoes on because I did not have time to put my shoes back on. And it was a long ways away. Like, there was like 3 art museums before I could even get to my plane. So like finally I get there and I'm like dying and I'm like, there's 3 people behind me. I was like, we're in a family. I was like, we need on this plane. She goes, okay. She goes, they have 3 minutes before we close the gates. And I was like, no. I was like, we do not have 3 minutes before you close the gates. You're gonna wait till they get here. And she was like, no, we can't. And I was like, so I start panicking, and Kenneth's right behind me, and I'm like, okay, where's my parents? I was like, well, I can get on this plane. Kenneth can't because he didn't have his passport. I was like, but I can get on this plane. I was like, easy peasy. And so finally, though, about 2 minutes before the plane was about to close its gates, my parents got on the plane, and so we were able to get to Kansas City. And then from Kansas City, we drove to Missouri, and that is where we ended up. Now, if you guys remember correctly, our main goal for going back to the States was to see my grandma because she was very sick. We did. So the first week that we were there was really hilarious because she was just in such a crazy mood. I mean, she was so, I guess, sassy, I guess is what to say. She was like telling the nurses what to do. She was yelling at people, and it was great because we hadn't seen her like that in a really long time. So it was like very hopeful, and it was really nice to just see her like that. It had been a really long time since then. She was just like full of life and just like yelling at people. And then we were sending her to a nursing home. She was still in the hospital when we got there, but it was our plan to send her to a nursing home so that she could hang out there. We had gotten her to the nursing home, and it was not 60 hours that she had been there before she passed away. It is very common for people to have a really great like high before the downfall. Um, but we got to spend time with her. We were there for her until her very last breath. We were there with her the entire time. A lot of her family, her siblings were there. It was really great. We were able to be there for the funeral, which was on that Saturday. It was really nice because we actually got to spend genuine time with her, which was something that did not happen often before that. So that was really nice. So this video is definitely dedicated to her. She never got to see one of my videos, but I know if she did that she would really enjoy them. She was hilarious and very much full of attitude in the best way, I guess. You definitely always knew where you stood with her, so that was always nice. The wind is like coming out of nowhere, but she was really great. So it was a lot of fun. Spend time with family we hadn't seen in a long time, and just kind of everything. So I hope you guys. You'll probably. I have a little slideshow that will come on after this. It's just gonna show some pictures of her and her life, and just how really great she was. So thank you guys so much for your prayers. Though while we were in Costa Rica, I may like post some of the videos from the airport later on, and maybe I'll like post a few like more stories that happened while we were in the States. But this is just kind of like a short overview of how everything went. But it was a really great trip, and it was really worth it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Bye.